I'm sorry. I think I kicked my podcast into your yard. Can we go look for it? Hi, are you in line? Am I cutting you? I don't mean to. I'm just unaware of where the line starts. I saw a group of people. I got into it, assumed it was a line. That makes sense. No. But that's all right, right? Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Hole in the Pen Cap. It's my podcast. I'm Reier. Rye bread, rhino, refrigerator, washer and rye. List goes on and off. I'm your host, comedian, writer with pens. Been writing in a lot of cursive, but it's kind of illegible because I'm not. I'm kind of just letting myself go too much. You ever write and then you maybe get to the end of the page or something, and then you realize, oh, none of this is legible? That's where I'm at. Kind of with life more so than just writing, too. I'll be writing, maybe I think I'm doing a journal entry, a JE, as I call them. I have a lot of abbreviations. JE, attention getter, AG. That's what I call the first thing I do, maybe hello, is anybody home, or like something of that nature. That's an AG, attention getter. America's got attention getters, right? That's what I call. I also have REL, relevant. That's whenever I make a set list, I start it with REL, but my L's kind of look like I's. I think all lowercase L's can kind of look like I's. It's not just you, Reier. It's not all about you, but it's my podcast. It's not all about, you're not even in it. What? Yes, I am. It's my mine. That's what you sound like. I am you. Ariel. What else do we have, right? Yeah, just a plethora of letters that I don't, there's no key. Like in the, when you did geography as a kid, they always taught you about like the symbol key or whatever, where it'd be like, oh, globe equals world. I don't think that was one of them ever, but, it would just show you what all these different star equals blank. Blank equals star. You can switch them. They can convert. I don't really have one of those, I think. A key. I just kind of assume that I'm probably the only one that's going to read it. But I've gotten pretty far with this notebook. I have a tendency to not finish notebooks. It's a real money waster. It's a horrible use of paper. I feel really bad about it. For me, like, typically if I would get like a tear or something in a notebook, or like a bend, or I would have this impulse to start over because the notebook is now tainted. Tainted? Taint. Ted. Huh. I wonder what the relation is. Is there something wrong with that part of your body? No, right. Maybe it depends, but maybe if you do have something, that's okay. You can have an issue there. Do women have? Right, it's all tomatoes and tomatoes in this, wouldn't it be fun if the solar system was just vegetables, fruits? Tomato is a fruit, but God, that's the fun fact everybody always, hey, did you know tomato's a fruit? Yeah. Oh, I thought I was the only one. It's like it's fun to have just to tell people facts. I do that. I have a couple, like my sea otters hold hands at night so that they don't float away from each other. Why are you telling me? I just want you to think about that. I want you to think about two little water beavers floating in the water with their hands. I don't think they have fingers, so it's more of maybe like a mitten grip. Mitten. That was what was that called in wrestling? It was like the gable grip or something. I don't remember. But that can't be, as this is tighter, right? This is harder to get undone than this because then you just pry. There's a few of this one. I guess you could go wrist. This seems strange, but I like thinking about things like that, like the different ways you can interlock your hands. And thank you for listening. Because of course you don't have to. And I appreciate that. I think, let's get back to the facts, right? Because this was something, back to the truth, back to the business, back to the realizations. Sea otters hold hands at night so that they don't float away. I remember reading that fact several years ago and writing it down, going, that's very funny for some reason. I don't know why it's funny. I think it's just, it's something that people would maybe think is sweet. They'd be like, oh, that's so sweet. Oh, they love each other. No, I think it's a survival instinct. I mean, it's not. I think sometimes we get survival instincts mixed up with love, right? Like staying with somebody or you don't have to, I guess people always say, you don't have to love somebody to be in love. Wait, no, is it that? Or it's I love you, but I'm not in love with you. What? What is that? What's that supposed to mean? We always tiptoe around those types of conversations, don't we? I love you, I'm not in love with you. Nobody says I fear you, but I'm not in fear with you. Well, I hate you, but that's all. Why do you hate? Gotta go. Yeah. But yeah, we always say, suppose people would maybe think that's sweet, that sea otters hold hands. I think it's interesting to think about what other things do we kind of connect that maybe aren't, maybe like a lot of things that animals do, I think. We go, oh, like the dog is bringing me a ball. Like he must be willing to sacrifice his soul for me. No, I think he likes the ball. I think that's an interesting, why do dogs like balls? Why do dogs like, I suppose they don't all, but remember when I was a kid, we had a Labrador that didn't like toys. And I remember it made me really sad because I wanted her to play with toys. And she did, that would probably be. But everybody's different, right? But yeah, I love telling people facts sometimes because it's just, especially when they're not really pertinent to the situation, to just go into a game of hangman with somebody, you're just playing hangman with somebody. And you go, well, I don't even know if I know many facts. I like telling them, but then I do immediately forget. I wouldn't say it sticks with, it's like, I approach facts kind of like maybe like a dollar store brand of tape or like a dollar store flashlight. It will do the job briefly, kind of how I approach life, I think. Sometimes that's not good, but as long as you're doing the job, it's okay if it's brief, then you just get another little piece of tape. Kind of wasteful, but or you put another battery in the flashlight. You get another 7 minutes of light. What if the sun needed to have batteries? God, what a dangerous mission that would be. Just kind of just putting batteries back into the sun, and you're like, oh, I guess somebody's got to go die this week for. I'm not saying I want that. I don't want that. But that's my job, is to raise the important questions. Some people talk about, hey, the president almost got shot. I have no words for that. That's not my business. I don't, that would be funny to kind of approach things that way, to go, the major current events, Israel and Palestine conflict. I don't want to be invasive. Even me talking about it would be. It's funny to drink with two hands. Is it bad to drink on the mic? I didn't mean to be. I'm just, I'm a fish. I'm just taking it in through my gills. I've got, gills is kind of gross. But yeah, no, what are we talking about? Yeah, it would be interesting if I approached major political events, major current events with that philosophy, right? With that mindset of, I'm not trying to get in your business. I want to let you do what you've got to do. And I'm just worried about Reier. That's an interesting thing to say. You know how teachers used to say that if a kid was like telling on another kid or just whatever, be like, hey, worry about Stephen, okay? Worry is an interesting word. I'm worried about Reier. Reier, that's you. I'm very concerned. Just kind of sending myself a get well package, or like maybe I baked some cookies that I know I like, and Reier loves M&Ms with peanut butter. I do. How did I know? Just taking care of maybe sending myself a get well soon card. Go, I'm not unwell. Say, but I'm worried. I was told to worry about you. All right. Yeah, I suppose if you sent a get well soon card to somebody that was not unwell, that'd maybe be offensive, wouldn't it? You're just sending, God, I'm sorry for everything that's happened. What? I just got married. My son is joining baseball. That he said joining? My son was recruited for Little League. That how they would. My daughter was chosen on the swim team. Chosen. One of the chosen. I wonder if there are like Jewish swim teams, or specific religion. What if we, and I'm not saying this is what I want, but we're so competitive as a society. I mean, do we ever do religion races? That can't be great to say. I'm just a Reier. I'm just making sure my jump rope is hung up. That's all I'm doing. Offering my insights in sight. Just the things that are in my sight, within the horse blinders that I've made out of pizza boxes. I just cut a pizza box in half, and on one side, on the other side, and then I connected them with like a headband potentially, but it's like kind of it's like a facial band, It's just like a children's headband that I put in the middle of my face with 2 pizza boxes. And one of the sides of the pizza box is bigger than the other because that's one's kind of, the top is just the lid, and then there's the kind of going up, the kind of square that's not really a square, but it's an. How about you? How about we give that a go, right? Make a horse blind. What's in my side? I'm offering it in a little bowl. I'm going, hey, you wanna see this? Do you want to know what I think about? I don't even know. Sometimes it's nice to not know, because the world is a scary place. But if you don't, that's negligent, that's lazy to not care. I care. There's so many things I care about that I am not actively, I suppose if maybe I could go to Salvation Army and there was a button to round up for, how somebody feels, right? Round up and your neighbor will have like a better day. I would do that. I do the rounding up too, but I don't. Do you ever worry that the money's not going where they say the money's going? I round up, but it depends where you're at too. If it's $17.01 versus $17.92, it's a different thing. You could do so much with $1, I think if I found $1 on the ground, I'd probably go to a fly's garage sale and just buy everything he's got. Right? Just make his fucking day. Make his day. Right? Because if you're a fly or a ladybug or a caterpillar's getting a little bit bigger, but I don't think you'd maybe be able to buy everything with $1, but a fly or an ant. Everything you're trying to sell, I could get with $1. And that would just change it'd be like the lottery, because I imagine they have the same currency as probably American dollars, that they just kind of have to fold a bunch. It's a lot of work. Maybe they cut up the dollar into like 1,000 different dollars. And then they put them in their ant pockets and their fly purses. For whatever reason, I feel like a fly would have a purse and an ant would have a pocket. Not even a wallet, a pocket. I used to lose my credit card, debit card. I actually haven't had a credit card. I only use debit because I'm worried about, I don't know, something stressed me out and then I don't do the things I need to do. Like the whole Spotify. I'll get this. This will eventually be on Spotify. It may be a few years. I may just, put this out on YouTube for it could be like another year before I actually figure it out. And I've been told many times how to do it, but it confuses me. And I have tried. That's always the thing with, you ask somebody how to do something like, oh, it's the easiest thing ever. Okay. How? And then they're like, yeah, just look up a YouTube video. Tell me. You tell me. Please. Physically, and that's lazy. Can you physically stand next to me? But also when you want something enough, you will just figure out how to do it, right? So maybe I just don't want it enough to get it on Spotify. I will. I think I'm also in this moon phase. Just a moon, but it's the shape of me. The shape of Reier. I'm in a phase where I'm figuring out how to do this. I think how to because it is how to do a podcast, solo podcast, and talk and remain interesting and do it consistently. Because I think a lot of times I stop doing it just because I don't think what I'm thinking about is interesting. And so I'm just in that phase of figuring out how to consistently talk and consistently think. So I think, the next several months or year or years or whatever will be me, um, becoming more consistent. But it's a lot of it is confidence too. Like I think if I have the confidence to just keep putting these out, even if I, and maybe like, oh, I don't like that part, because that does go back to the notebook thing, the OCD, like just wanting things to be a certain way, you know? But then I think it would maybe be the equivalent of like, oh, am I going to do 5 perfect push-ups, or am I going to attempt 100 push-ups knowing that that a lot of them are probably not going to be good? I would say you'd probably grow more, you'd get a lot stronger if you do 100, right? And then eventually you'd get to the point where you can, even if you sacrifice a little bit of that technique. But I don't know if there's really a technique. I think for me, it's figuring out how to take people on journeys and mentally, getting you into my shopping cart, right? And it has the baby seat, but I kind of converted it to be like an adult seat. So you sit, and so most of the cart is actually taken up, but they have adult like grocery, shopping cart seats for like people with special needs. I saw that at Target. So cool. Like that. Great accessibility is so great. Is so important. The other day, how do you guys ever you use the handicap stall? Is that I never see, I never see anybody that using it. And I like the space. I like, I want my bathroom to be like a New York apartment. I want to like be able to kind of go in and maybe I build a loft in it or something. We've got to work up. We can't work side to side. There's not enough square footage. I want my bathroom to have another bathroom outside in the hallway that everybody uses, but we all kind of go into our own bathroom and then. Yeah, no, it's never been a problem. Like I'll use it usually because it's just there's more room, and yet you're not as close to other people, because sometimes people will just come and go into the stall next to you, and you're like, this is uncomfortable. But I was in the bathroom, and then I got out, and there was someone in a wheelchair, and I felt so bad. Luckily, it was a friend. It was another comedian, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. This never happened. Which is, I don't know if that's good to say. You never used the bathroom before. Yeah, see, in the past, I maybe wouldn't have thought that this would be good, but I'm sculpting that bar of soap. I'm rolling that piece of Play-Doh into a hot dog. It's all one color though, because I don't want to mix the colors. So it's just a red hot dog, which I don't know if it would be red. It may maybe be brown, but sometimes in cartoons the hot dog will be red, right? And then the bun will be yellow. Sometimes, but you could really make it any color you want. Where no one's gonna eat it. It's a picture. So it could be any color you want it to be, I suppose. But yeah, I was off for a few weeks. Went back home. I went to my dad's and then I went to my mom's too, which is cool. So it's great to go back to family and to just kind of to stay with your family as an adult is a different thing. It's really you. I don't know. I think you see things differently as an adult. You go, oh, this is how this all makes more sense now. So I think when you're a kid, I think having to be anywhere is unfortunate. When you're a kid, you have to be uh, with your family, but as an adult, it's like, no, I want that freedom to like come and go is so beautiful, you know? Be like, oh, at any point, like, or I can go get water whenever. I could always get water whenever. That's crazy. But like when you're in school and you have to ask to go to the water fountain or something, there's like that restriction that's not, you know, nobody wants to have to ask for things like that, I suppose. But no, I saw two of my brothers too. And it's nice to it's interesting to be an adult because I feel like I get along with my siblings now. So I mean, just great. And it wasn't always like that, to as an adult you just see things differently. I don't know. Am I an adult? I'm an adult, I think. I think I'm becoming an adult too. I think I'm 23. I guess you would say, yeah, I already am, but I think so much of it is like maturity and life and just figuring things out. I think I'm uh still figuring things out. Very much so, just going I'm just kind of trying to find myself in a lot of ways. Going under a giant solo cup and having somebody mix me around with other solo cups and you know trying to guess which one I'm under. Hint, it's the one you're under. I'm trying to do that, trying to find myself, right? Say, hey, if have you seen me? Let me know. If you see me, maybe blow a whistle. Trick me into tying a giant balloon to myself so you can see me from the heavens. Would I from the heavens? Do you think they watch people from there? Because I'd imagine they're not maybe they're not looking through the clouds. That would be difficult. There's probably some sort of screen for them to watch. But a lifeguard really is kind of like a low budget angel, aren't they? Kind of watching everybody and stepping in. I don't know if angels really step in. Hey, you need some help? Just kind of maybe you see your nephew get in a car crash or you see he's struggling with some drugs hey buddy, you're just blowing a whistle. Not here. Hey, don't run in the equivalent of like not running on the side of the pool maybe would be like don't drive drunk, don't. But yeah, they're pretty similar, aren't they? Angels and lifeguards. Except I feel like it's pretty easy to become as opposed to, can we agree that becoming an angel is probably harder than becoming a lifeguard? I'm not saying it's easy to be a lifeguard, but it is mostly teenagers, right? I think I know there are several tests you have to go through. Like you have to swim to the bottom of the pool and grab like a weight, I think. Which, I feel like I wonder. It's interesting how things weigh so much less in the water. The gravity is kind of removed. I do love water. I don't really swim much anymore. I have a bad shoulder. My left shoulder pops out of socket a lot. Which is a lot is probably more than you want that to happen. But so I get nervous about that. I really do need to get a surgery. I'm going too soon, I think. But we're going to start that process. I just don't like processes. I don't like long things and figure, I want things to be cut and dry, but cut and dry. What is cut and dry? I feel like a lot of things that are cut are wet, like, because if you can cut it, isn't it, it's probably moisturized in some sense, that makes it softer. Cut and dry. I suppose you could cut like a piece of chalk, but that would be crazy. You wouldn't. I mean, it would crumble. Anything dry that you're cutting would crumble, wouldn't it? Cut and dry. Suppose you could cut like a piece of foam. I imagine there's got to be some moisture in foam, right? Hmm. Hmm. Cut and dry and cut. Oh, speaking of cut, my hair's coming back. I'm very happy about that. I regretted shaving my head. I was very unhappy with, and that was just me. That's a very personal thing. I think I did not like how I looked. I think it was also just for me. I think hair is like it was very healthy. I was talking to my friend about that the other day too, because he just shaved his head. And he's like, yeah, I wanted to do it because, or he asked me before he did it. He's like, I think it would help me with comedy because you can't rely on it. It's good to not rely on anything like weird clothes or your hair or any looks to just be funny, to just have to conjure it all up verbally, like not using props, not using, everything is just from you, kind of. There's value in that, especially in the beginning. Obviously, once you develop that and then go to props or whatever, that's very different. It's not the same thing, but yeah, I agreed with that. I was like, yeah, I shaved my head, and I felt kind of it felt harder, which is crazy because I mean, my stand-ups, I don't talk about my hair at all, obviously, but you just feel kind of bare, like which is there's value in. Everything should be uh funny without anything. I think without the way you look. I think that should be taken out of it. Even though, I mean, obviously your material almost always goes into that at some level, the way you look, because the way you look is the way you're perceived to other people. And stand up is mostly about perception, right? It's about how people see you. And that's why I love mirrors so much. I've talked about that before too. But when I was at my dad's, I got a few new mirrors, which was really fun. And I went into my old bedroom. I put the mirrors up and I just made this like mirror room, which was really fun. And I'm about to move, I'm about to move rooms. I know I've talked about that before. But it's finally happening. We just re-signed our lease. Woohoo. Yeah. I don't know what that was, but that's a commitment that I would have been very scared to do in the past, but I'm excited about now. That consistency of knowing, hey, I'm here for another year, which is great. I think I was nervous, and taking off these last several weeks and going to just going out of town was good. Because I was thinking about, I had some thoughts about like maybe New York, like at least visiting, if not moving at some point. Um, but I don't know, and I don't think I love Austin. I think it's just the craving, the urge for something new, I think is what it is. Like I've always enjoyed being challenged in the sense of not being, because a lot of my challenges are social. They're just like I feel comfortable. I would say I feel most comfortable alone. And then so putting myself in these new environments where I don't know anybody is very, very difficult for me. And I think I like that to an extent, like going somewhere, because then it's only my stand up, it's only, and then I'll never be a good everybody always says you have to network, and I don't I'm not connected to the I'm trying to think network Wi-Fi. I feel like when I think of network, I think of like a bunch of strings of yarn, just kind of tied around a room, connecting to one thing, right? Suppose that is kind of what it is. Maybe there's like a chair in the middle of a room, and then you tie one side of the yarn to the chair, and then you connect it to the wall, and there's like tacks on the wall, and every string goes to another tack. Yeah, network. Yeah, I'll never, I mean, I also don't really think I care to be good at networking. Uh, because I just want to build something special, I think. And I don't, and that'll be, I want it to be funny and undeniable in itself, you know, so that it'll almost attract, I don't know. I mean, I think it sounds weird to say out loud, but that's what I want. And it'll take a while, but I think there's a lot of value in things happening slowly. Because when things happen slowly, you have so much time to ponder every issue and what makes something you really want and not rush anything. You know, I don't want to rush anything. I want to make, I want to paint like a picture, I suppose, with that's never like with different colors and mix colors to make colors that I've never seen before, and most or anybody's ever seen before. I suppose there's probably colors out there that we don't see much, or yeah, I think about that a lot, about how long everything's taking, and I don't know. I think a lot of it comes with emotional growth too. I wanna grow emotionally, and I sometimes I feel like I'm kind of I feel like I maybe like a fake plant, like somebody bought me from Target or something, and but they didn't know I was fake, or they didn't know if I was fake, and so they watered me every day, and I wasn't growing, and then like 3 years later, they kept watering me, and then they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna go on vacation. Am I really gonna hire someone to water this plant? I don't think it's real. I don't know." And then they're like, "Oh, fuck it." And they go on vacation, and they come back, and I am in fact dead. You had to water me. Not in the sense of me being I'm not fake, but I'm saying that I feel like growth there's just that consistency of watering the plant even though it's not growing, because it will, you know? I went back to my dad's, and there were a few grapefruits on the grapefruit tree. I know I've talked about that tree before. There was never any fruit, but I went there and there were. Crazy. Um it was like a really beautiful kind of symbolic thing too to see after like a decade or what. I don't know if it's been that long, but I think probably a decade. And then there's just its first fruit. You're like, oh, that's, I suppose, there's something about that of going, hey, at some point I'm going to make a fruit, and it'll be really cool at that point, but not cutting down the tree and not neglecting the tree, but just being consistent, like going, yeah, you're fine. You can be here. You can take up this part of the backyard and just figure out what you're doing, and we trust you. Kind of saying that to yourself, going, oh, I trust myself to grow at some point, and to just keep trying, to just keep trying to grow. And one day there'll be grapefruit, and I don't even like grapefruit at all, but at least it's there. It's kind of a fun thing. At least it's there. Because somebody likes grapefruit. Hmm. But yeah, trying to grow emotionally, right? I've been going back to the haircut thing because I have been thinking about it a lot recently. Um, I think it's interesting that I feel like I tend to approach issues with irrational solutions. Because that's kind of what cutting off all my hair, I suppose, was like oh, I'm not, I don't know, like I don't feel like myself, or I'm not good at my job, or I don't feel like I'm doing good. You know, just a solution that doesn't help anybody and really isn't appropriate, you know? And I've done that with many things. Like, oh, I don't have any money. Maybe I should go take a few weeks off work. Go figure that out. Yeah, I like to grow in solitude, to kind of go out into the forest like a dying dog or something. Or into a chrysalis like a caterpillar, just zip myself into a sleeping bag uh, and develop, then come on back. That's what I tend to do, which isn't always good because it'll be like, oh, I want to get better at talking to people. Let me lock myself in the bathroom and practice. But you've got to just do things sometimes too. You just got to do things. But yeah, I don't approach the issue. I feel like I try to. I'm just doing it in the wrong way. Like I'm, taking a cup and I'm catching a firefly, thinking that I'm, saving it or something. But in reality, I'm just, I'm just putting it in a jail of sorts, Or maybe I'm going to. I suppose I feel like I kind of, I feel like I live life maybe in the way that, like I'm going to bingo or something and I'm with like 100 elderly people and, I shout bingo and I have none of the right squares. And somebody comes over and they're like, hey, like, oh, what? You don't have, why did you shout bingo? You don't have any of the numbers. I didn't understand. And everybody's pissed, because it's elderly people. Like they really take it very seriously. And a bunch of them already took off the circles because they assumed, why would anybody falsely yell that, especially to the extent of having none of the letters? Like nobody, that's crazy. Why would anybody do that? And then I'm just standing over there going, I just wanted to yell something. I wanted to get it out. Am I not allowed to yell in here? Am I not allowed to yell the one word that describes this whole? Yeah, I suppose bingo is a place where you really can't yell the name of the game. I suppose if I was playing soccer or something, I just went, soccer! I mean, it'd be weird, but it wouldn't ruin everybody's day. Unless I did it several times, which I'm not putting that past me. I'm really not. But yeah, just feeling, I don't know. I guess sometimes I just feel out of place, right? Like I may be at a concert or something and I brought a beach ball. And I'm just hitting the beach ball around, and people are kind of hitting it back, but not, they're only doing it because they have to, because it's literally like hitting them on the head and, because it's going through the crowd. And then at some point it just stops being hit at all and I have to go retrieve it. And then I'm retrieving it and then I'm hitting it and then I'm going to wherever it landed. And I'm just kind of playing fetch with myself in a sense. And then I realize, oh, nobody's hitting this because this is like a jazz concert. This is really inappropriate. Like, this is not the right place to be doing this at all. Yet I continue to hit the ball because I'm curious, and I think there's maybe value. Maybe there's someone deep in the crowd that at some point hits it, and and then they hit it back to me, and I hit it back to them, and we just keep hitting the ball, and and it kind of making like a rainbow in a sense. It's like hitting, and we're just hitting it to the beat of the music, and everybody kind of clears out at the end, and we're still there, and I walk over to them and I go, "Thank you for doing that." And they go, "No, thank you." And there's kind of a beautiful thing that happens, and you find the person that's willing to hit the beach ball at the jazz concert. Just kind of finding your group of people, putting out Fruit Loops instead of breadcrumb, seeing if somebody's willing to give it a try. Because there are people like all of us, like you, like me, and they're out there, and you just have to find them, which is a beautiful thing. That's why patience is so important too, because you can find your people. You just have to, get high enough up on a platform, on a mountain, and wave your arms and go, "This is what I am. Is anybody else like that?" And just kind of keep yelling, get a blowhorn. What's it called? Megaphone. Blowhorn. Is that a thing? A blowhorn? I feel like any horn is kind of a blowhorn, but is there a suck horn? Oh, God. Just kind of get a megaphone and go, I'm the equivalent of a tree that's, a tree house that, was buried underground and that grew, like a tree house that came from a seed, kind of. That's me. Does anybody else like that? And, nobody's going to say anything. And then one day you're going to keep yelling it, and someday somebody's going to go, "Wait, did you say you're a tree house that came from the ground? What? Oh my God. Nobody's ever said that." That's exactly how I feel. Hopefully. I mean, that may not happen. Some things are crazy specific, but we're lucky in that we have the internet and whatnot now that you'll find your people. And I hope I help you. I hope, we kind of get together and we all hold a bunch of Q-tips together, and everybody kind of makes a sheep, and it's not a sheep in the negative sense of being like people, but we're all, maybe I make a sheep out of Q-tips and you make a sheep out of cotton balls, and another person makes a sheep just kind of out of an actual sheep. They have a sheep, and somebody else maybe just draws a sheep, and then we're all sheep together, but we're not the same at all. We're just, or maybe somebody isn't even, somebody just has like a plain out cat or something, and they go, I'm a sheep. And we all go, yeah, why not? You can be a sheep. Because there's something fun about that, about just letting people kind of be something. It's not you're not a crazy person because you don't feel like what you look like, I think. And I think that does, there's so much anger now. It's like, oh, everybody thinks you're crazy just because you don't feel exactly the way you look. And I don't think that's right. Just relax. Just, I guess it goes back to, I've been watching, I got really into this guy named Charlie Kirk. He's this very right-winged political activist that I don't support. I don't know. I don't have a lot of controversial. I would say I definitely don't support most of his viewpoints at all, but I enjoy watching him because of the way he speaks. He has this very. Have you ever met somebody or seen maybe on TV or something, somebody that no matter what they say, it's you'd believe they're right? It's kind of like that. It seems like it's all these videos of like uh dumb liberal gets destroyed by Charlie Kirk or something. And it's he doesn't seem like a nice person. Uh but he's very enthralling, and I respect that. Because you don't have to be a nice person to be, and maybe see, even if he heard me say that, he'd go, well, what makes you think that, and then he would cite some declaration of it. He would cite the Declaration of Independence or something, and I would go, you don't need to bring references to this. We don't. Uh, yeah, he would probably be a very scary person for me to talk to, I think, because some people I think are talking in like it's an argument, even when it's not, you know, just listen to somebody and let them guide you through their pastures, I suppose. Let them guide you through their house. You don't go into someone, else's house and lead the tour, right? You let them show you around and let that, maybe let's do conversation. It'd be interesting to kind of just let conversations be that. Let somebody walk you through their house, and then you get in a car and you go to their house, and and you let them show you, and you know, and there's reasons that our houses are different. And there's beauty in that, I think. It's a beautiful thing to have a different house, because it reminds me of that song. I don't remember who it's by, but it's called Little Boxes. Like little boxes on the hillside. And it's essentially just saying, everybody's the same. Like, or, well, it's kind of negating that idea that everybody should be the same. And it's like everybody, lives in a box, and all the kids go to school, and all the adults go to work, and you come back and you go back to the box, and then those people have kids and they get a box, and it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Um, you know, there's so much I don't think we need to fight. I think there's something very beautiful about uh changing your box. And that sounded weird. Um I didn't mean it in like a yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about that sort of thing a lot recently. Just kind of accepting myself and being more comfortable and things like that, I suppose. Let's see, do I have anything else I want to cover? This has been a fun. Was this fun? I hope we had a good time. I do want to be I'm gonna be more. I always say, we'll see. Hopefully I'm more consistent. But I am also, took a few weeks off to write. So I've been writing a lot and just kind of, I think, the social media stuff, I enjoy posting, and I enjoy reaching other people, but I also don't want to become someone that's only, only, only funny online. I think sometimes that happens, you'll see someone with like 1 million followers or whatever, and you'll be like, oh, they must be good. And then you'll go see them in person, and they're not funny. They're only, just able to do it online, like these little clips. Cause if you don't know somebody from a 30-second clip, and even if there's a bunch of them, and then you're like, oh, this is just like an attractive person that does dances. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be an attractive person that dances. Even though that'd be fun, but I just don't think that's in the cards for me. I think my cards probably have like maybe like different like recipes on them for things that aren't food. Like for like crafts. It's like recipes for crafts, and you'd be like, oh, that's not a recipe. Yeah, it's not. But steps to make something, like, oh, do you want to make like your own lantern, and then it shows what you need, and then it's like, oh, just get like a plastic bag and put one of those electric little candles in it. And then you get like a handle from, it's like a hand, maybe you make a handle out of a pipe cleaner. And then you have a lantern. I think that's what my cards would be. It would show you how to make a lantern out of things you can find around the house, which I don't know if you could find. I don't know if you could find pipe cleaners around the house, but I hope you can. I hope you can. You can really find anything around the house if you put it around your house. I could probably, if I put, if I put like a metal, maybe a purple heart or something around my house, the metal, not the organ, or if I put a scalpel, you'd be like, oh, things you can find around your house, and be like, oh, like a Subaru. Oh, is that around? Yeah, I just put it in there. I mean, other people for sure can't find it, but I can find it around my house. That's right. I mean, you're not incorrect. You're not wrong. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to cover, I suppose. We were talking about the approaching things with irrational behavior, approaching issues with irrational solutions, and it reminded me of when I worked at McDonald's, and I think I've talked about this on here before too, but the imposter syndrome I had at McDonald's, which I think is very funny, to be, because I quit several times, and I think there's something very interesting about, I think you can quit a job as many times as, it depends how kind you are. If you're like a nice person and you could easily quit 3 times. And if they're desperate, you could get up to like 6, I think. But because I just remember that at McDonald's, my confidence was so low that I would just be like standing next to the fryer, just being like, oh, God, I shouldn't be here. And there'd be, like actual felons in things like that, people with, pretty severe developmental delays, which is there's nothing wrong with it, but they'd just be like, no, Reier, you're one of us. Like you can, very sweet. Confidence is so important. And I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting more confident. I'm putting air into the tires of my unicycle, but not too much, because then it gets too hard and you can't bunny hop, which is what you call when you do the tiny jumps. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know you were in a rush, and you were on your way to the store that it's about to close maybe, but thank you so much for coming by. I had a wonderful time. I would love to see you in the next episode of The Hole in the Pen Cap. I hope you have a great night. Thank you. Great day. Bye.